it just takes one thing to go wrong somewhere that they're not aware of, and this whole system collapses. I wouldn't be surprised if we take us all the way down to this level here. If we get a decent W here, that could indicate a very serious bull run.
Today, for the Bitcoin price with DaVinci J15, we will talk about the price of Bitcoin in the immediate short term, and also the fact that the price of Bitcoin is falling right now, and everyone is asking, is the price of Bitcoin going to continue to fall like a falling knife, or will we find support in these areas and bounce? DaVinci J15 has a very surprising opinion about that, and we might find even lower lows below the 6,500 US dollar levels. We will talk about all of that, but in the end, even more important, guys, and you want to sit down and be ready for that, we will talk about all the different central banks all over the world. Everyone is only talking about the Federal Reserve, the ECB, and so on, but you can basically see in the articles we are about to show you today that every single central bank in the world is flooding the markets with fiat currencies. You do not want to miss out on that. You want to take a seat, you want to smash up the like button right now. And that being said, we want to come once again to the most important question of today. DaVinci J15, how are you doing today, my man?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today, Chris?
I'm doing amazing, even though the Bitcoin price is falling down. But when we have interesting stuff to talk about, like central banks flooding the whole world with money, I'm excited to do so. So, man, I'm happy that you are well as well. You just came back from your travels, so maybe we can pull up the charts and old school do some Bitcoin TA before we go into the economics.
Sure. Let's take a look at the chart today, and you can see just dark clouds on the horizon here, man. I mean, just like we are collapsing. And you know what? I get a lot of emails and messages on Skype and from different places, even on Telegram. Everybody's really sad. I mean, the sentiment that I'm getting here is worse than when we were at 3,100. And this is the year at, I think, 1 year to date, I think we were at 3,100. And today, and people were a lot more happier and optimistic back then.
Which is bullish, DaVinci, right?
So I'm thinking we have to be closer to a bottom than a top. But honestly, I think we still have to do a little bit more bleeding. We need to get rid of all the weak hands completely. And so I wouldn't be surprised if we take us all the way down to this level here, which is the 78.6.
I want to make the people watching now aware of something. And I want to make you aware of the fact that this green zone here is the long-term buying zone DaVinci actually pointed out more than half a year ago, where we were so sad that we were going out of the long-term buying zone. So now going back, just wanting to be a little bit positive. If you are dollar cost averaging, or if you are planning to, decrease your average costs of buy-in, I mean, the long-term buying zone might be the best opportunity to do so. So being in that green little dot here might be even something positive if you want to watch it from a positive side. So yeah, DaVinci, the stage is yours again.
Yeah, so that's correct. I mean, this is part of, there's two long-term buying zones. There's one here because this is the overall long-term zone from the 20,000 top, and this one's from the $14,000 top. So we're gonna just stick with the $14,000 top one on this chart here, on this Bitstamp chart, and you can see that we're going to be probably coming down. It would be nice if we bounced off of this trend channel here, making on a daily basis, making a little bit of a lower low, but a definite divergence, and then seeing if we can break this. Here, let me just make this a little bit bigger because I'm sure you guys are losing it here. So if we go just a little bit, just to this trend line and bounce off this trend line in the next few days, and then we break the 7,800, we can all get bullish again, right? We can get a little bit bullish again. We have to wait and see, but you know what? I think that would really help out the Bitcoin's bullish case if we could break here, especially since it would kind of make a W depending on how this wick shows up on the daily. If we get a decent W here, that could indicate a very serious bull run, if we can do that. But that's a lot of ifs.
But higher highs are always kind of bullish, right?
Yes, but we're moon boys here, so yeah, we want to think positive, right? We want positive actions.
Exactly.
It would be nice if it bounced off of this trend line, but I doubt it. This is the one that is most likely going to bounce off of if it does do any kind of bouncing. Going down to the lower time frames, things are a disaster. I wish we can like come up with a trade. We've already broken down. Again, there is no trade just yet. Maybe we can. There is nothing here. We've already broken down. We have to like wait for the market to give us something. I did jump into a trade. Tried to jump into a trade, and as you can see here, I did not get in. You can see my trade was yesterday. I set it up here for yesterday, and I was hoping for the market to come to me and give me an entry point, but it didn't quite do so.
I mean, guys, look at it. You see the green rig here on the upside? The price was so close coming to his entry. I mean, that would have been the perfect trade once again, Da Vinci, because just like you are here on the 30 minutes afterwards, the price was dumping AF, man. So actually, that was a very nice entry. You were just like $10 away. So guys, make a screenshot of that. I mean, it looks just perfect. But yeah, even more important, Da Vinci, you said right now there is not a trading setup, but we have a few different support levels to look at. The one was at 6,500-ish at that trend line, and one was a little bit below. Everyone who's interested in that, once again, we will share this trading setup on Telegram. The link is in the pinned comment down below. But what is actually your game plan right now?
I mean, if there's I mean, it's too like for me looking at the hourly, there's more room for it to dump, for sure. It's just that if you were to try to chase this on a dump, yeah, sure, it's gonna go lower, but how low? You have only until that trend line that we mentioned, and so you're taking a big risk if it bounces sometime early to get into any kind of trade on this thing. Maybe you can go. There's a scalp trade on the 5 minute, but that's about it. I mean, if I were to go down to the 5 minute, I could probably find you a scalp trade, but I can't really find anything else. And the 5 minute scalp trade is over, right? That would have been right here.
And it would have been good.
Right
It would
here.
have been a very nice trade, man, once again. So everyone watching, come on, go down, tick the little subscribe button. We are pushing videos, like 5 videos a week on our channel or so, approximately. Make sure you're not missing out on that, because the YouTube algorithm is changing right now. And if you are not hitting the subscribe button and next to it the little bell, you might be missing out on future content.
So
Also, Da Vinci. I mean, we have the Bitcoin price. That's a check mark for today. But there's something more important we want to talk about. Can you go back into the face mode so I can just switch around between the articles and your face? Is that possible? Because I have
Yes,
it here
sure.
big.
Let's do that.
So Da Vinci and me, we did some research and we found something interesting. I mean, we were aware of the fact, but this is a very nice statistic. This guy here, we are following also, has bought up. And I mean, here you can see perfectly listed all the different central banks. And easing means quantitative easing. It just means that the central bank is printing money. They're buying government bonds and different stuff on the secondary market to flood the economy with money. And it's not only happening in the US and in Europe. You can see it's happening in Denmark, Australia, Brazil, Russia, India, China, Korea, South Africa, Indonesia, like everywhere. So Da Vinci, can you maybe share your own opinion about that and what you think that means for the financial system? And maybe also we can find a little connection to Bitcoin before we open up this picture here and show the people all the different headlines from the articles you definitely do not want to miss out on.
Yes, well, when I was at BitConf, I pointed out that the banks are basically criminal enterprise, and the reason why is not because inherently humans are bad per se. It's just that our whole financial system is built on a means of theft. So when you build basically the foundation, right? The foundation of this financial system is the currency, and if the currency is bad, anything that's built on top of that will become bad for the most part. And so that's what's happened, right? So now what the banks have done, they made themselves intertwined so that if one goes down, all of them go down. And how they do that is through a complex series of derivatives. And I don't think we don't have time to go into exactly how that's done. I've explained it a few times in other videos, I believe. But anyways, Yeah, and so what they can do now at this point is that they can commit any crime that allows them to basically take money from people, and then as long as if they stop taking that money, they will collapse. They can continue doing so, and that's where we're at right now. They are either a bank is broke. Many broke banks are broken, so they need to this easing, and so they have to continue to flood the banking system with money, or else the whole thing collapses in on itself. And of course, you know what? This whole thing, everybody wants to join all the banking systems, all the banks and all the new banks, and every small bank wants to join in and be part of this scam. They want to be the one that gets bailed out as well, of course, right? So the best way for them to do that is to like join in the derivatives game. And what the problem is with all these banks joining in and becoming intertwined with each other is that eventually one of those banks, they'll say, okay, well, we'll let this guy collapse, right? Because it's okay. But then it starts a domino effect. They don't know
Yes.
who's going to actually begin the collapse. So they're freaking out, and they're letting every single bank, bailing out every single bank. So I mean, let's see what happens. It just takes one thing to go wrong somewhere that they're not aware of, and this whole system collapses.
And you know what? I just saw some interesting facts about that, and I will push within that week, maybe even tomorrow, a video about which particular bank might be the trigger. It's not 100% certainty, but there might be a fully dedicated video towards that fact because, I mean, it affects everyone. As Da Vinci said, the banks are intertwined. And if one of these major big players, which are too big to fail, actually fail, they will drag everything down. They will drag all the banks down, and the banks will drag the whole economy down because everything relies on that. Like nearly every car is financed by a bank. Nearly every house is financed by a bank. Nearly all consumption, even the education, is financed by banks because every student, especially in America, where you have to pay for your education, basically, is in huge debt. So we will talk about that more on our channel. Make sure you are subscribed to that, and also to Da Vinci's channel because he's talking about all the time as well. Da Vinci, one important thing, especially for our audience, how is that maybe also intertwined with the future performance of Bitcoin? Do you think Bitcoin can be some kind of a safe haven for the people to rescue themselves from the consequences of the financial system inevitably collapsing?
I do believe that people who understand what Bitcoin is will be able to rescue themselves from the consequences of this actions and this collapse. However, the people who don't understand Bitcoin and they are very the layman kind of people who don't really want to deal with technology, handling their own keys, this is not probably the best choice for them because they can end up losing a lot more money with Bitcoins because it's a little bit still complicated for the average person to use. However, for us, it's a great safe haven because there are still a lot of people who understand what Bitcoins is and understand how to use it and still have a lot of cash on the side and a lot of money to deploy into Bitcoin should things start to get worse. So you can imagine a world where what happens is that the financial collapse starts to occur, and because Bitcoin is a 24/7 market, most people will say, okay, well, you wake up on Monday and you're broke. No, no, no. On the weekend, like we will see Tether, like the value of Tether dropped like a stone, and but Bitcoin go up like crazy during the weekend, and it's pretty clear what's going to happen on the Monday, right to the
Yes.
stock market. So yeah, you'll be way ahead of the curve.
Very much so. And that's what you said. The people have to know what Bitcoin is. That's the first point. You have to know how to store your private keys. There's a ledger link in the description down below if you want to store them on a cold wallet. If you want to trade them safely, there is a link to Pandora's wallet in the description down below. And there is a second thing. You have to implement that deep trust into Bitcoin, and you have to know what it is. You have to fundamentally understand at least the basics, the high level of the techniques behind, of the technology behind Bitcoin. And once you do that, you will understand that the price is going down is only temporarily, and you will be aware of the true values of Bitcoin and not gamble everything away. What we are preaching the whole time, because we are trading every day, but we are not trading with our whole portfolio. We are trading with a small cut, trying to outperform the market. And the biggest part is our holding portfolio. That being said, only and only if you are an experienced trader, you can go down in our pinned comment and basically, let me show you right here. Go down in our pinned comment and then you can sign up here on Bybit. You get a $90 free bonus for a deposit, and then you can trade Bitcoin, but only with a small portion of your portfolio and only if you know how to do leverage trading, if you are an experienced trader, and if you're aware of the risks of that. If you do all of that, if there are check marks for everything, there are very high opportunities for you to the downside and to the upside. So make sure you're aware of that, but use our link and you will support us. Da Vinci, thank you so much. And I want to end today, before we go into the outro talks and your very important updates, very quickly only to show this headlines here, just a few of them. And you can see, like, it is public information. You can see here on Reuters, for example, Brazil cuts rates to a record of 4.5%. And for Brazil, that's actually very, very low already. Denmark's central bank cuts key interest rate to historic lows. So you can basically see that these interest rates in each and every country, in Europe, it's even already at close to zero, they are getting lower and lower. And the money in every country, Russia, Brazil, like everywhere, the money is getting cheaper and cheaper. And where money is getting cheaper, assets get inflated. Where assets are getting inflated, the general public is actually getting robbed from their purchasing power. And wherever the economy is getting flooded with cheap money, you know there is an inevitable collapse coming. As you know, every single system in the history of mankind of a few thousand years was due to collapse. Every system, the Romans, everything collapsed. Let's just hope that this one collapses peacefully. So, Da Vinci, amazing episode. And do you have any updates to share for us today before we wrap it up?
No, I don't have any updates. Just other than the fact that actually I'm going to try to reduce the amount of videos that I'm going to be doing, because I want to focus on Pandora's Wallet. I want to get more work done on Pandora's Wallet. I'm getting a little nervous with the banking system, and I want to get as many coins as I can off of the exchanges because I don't trust the exchanges. And I was thinking about a method of adding an exchange method inside Pandora's Wallet, because all these coins have the ability to do atomic swaps, even Tether. So I was thinking, well, wait a second, why don't I just build in like a local Bitcoins into Pandora's Wallet kind of thing? And yeah, that's an idea that I'm floating around right now because I'm sick of the exchanges.
I will use that nearly every single day, man. I will use that. If you are doing that, I will use it nearly every single day. That sounds amazing. Everyone who wants to be on board before that happens, there's a link down below. There's a 30 days free trial. Make sure you check it out. Also very important in the light of today's episode, once the financial collapse comes, do you think Bitcoin will act as a safe haven and in the long run will appreciate in value? Or do you think it will depreciate in value and that there will be a positive correlation? There's a poll popping up on top of the screen right now. Make sure you click it, make your choice. Positive impact, negative impact for the Bitcoin price. And that being said, Da Vinci, thank you so much for taking your time despite of your things you have to do on Pandora's Wallet. And yeah, do you have any last words to say before we wrap it up?
Yeah, always trade from a position of strength and don't get wrecked.
Do not get wrecked, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for supporting us with the affiliate links. Thanks for smashing up the like button and even more important, commenting the video. We will see each other very soon, most probably already tomorrow on our channel, Da Vinci's channel, also down below. And that being said, as always, guys, as always, bye-bye.